මේකේ නම වෙනස් කරන්න ඕනේ 21යි CSC නමට එන්නේ ඕක.
Okay, all. So this is a kind reminder to all of you. You have to ensure that your mics are muted until your turn comes for raising your questions. And also, it would be better if you guys can rename yourselves with like two names. For an example, Amal Pereira, kind of. Then it will be easier for us to just identify for your certification things. Okay, so hello, good evening, all of you. Today, I hope you guys have known what we are going to do today, right? I think you all are in our WhatsApp official group for the Limitless Horizons 4.0 official WhatsApp group. So, before moving on to the beginning of today's session, I would just like to make you kind of aware about what is Limitless Horizons and who will be presented that session for you all, right? All right. So again, good evening, all of you, and welcome you all to the second webinar of Limitless Horizons 4.0 presented by Rotaract alumni of University of Moratuwa, right? So this is not just like a single webinar. We do have a, webinar series, and also this project is all about your higher education and your career paths opportunities. We would like to just give you a, higher education guidance. So as a result of that, we were able to host our very first webinar last Monday at this usual time with the in cooperation with Mrs. Dilini Kulavansa, a senior lecturer of computational and mathematics department of University of Moratuwa. So at that day, she was just elaborating on the fundamental things on higher education, your bachelor's degrees, masters, and the audience were raised some important questions regarding abroad educational opportunities and the entry qualificational things, since she was participating, and she is nowadays also participating for the abroad research conferences. So she was able to just give her knowledge regarding the higher educational background and research conference things, and the master's educational backgrounds through her experience. So this is the second webinar, guys. So it's really happy to host our second webinar with a very improved version with one of the senior professors in Faculty of Engineering and the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So Professor Gihan Dias here with us today as the keynote speaker. So you guys can just clarify your doubts and your questions regarding your higher educational things. It's okay, because we do have our topic today. So moving back to the topic slide here, Rishi. Yes, your career, your life. So we know what's the importance of career of your life. So what you all have to do is you have to do everything with your passion. So you have to love what you are doing, right? So it's all about comes up with this circle on career guidance. So we, as I hope, so many university undergraduates are here with us, and undergraduates will be also joining. Um, so they do have a university career guidance unit. So I hope this webinar is kind of like a, a valuable insight making thing, because it's all about your careers. And from a senior and a very expert, you can just the things, right? So, so it's time to start. So again, welcome you all to the Limitless Horizons 4.0 Phase 1 Webinar 2, hosted by the Rotary Club of Alumni, University of Moratuwa. So it is the time to officially kick off today's event, your webinar on your career, your life alignment, right? So this event is structured to give you practical knowledge. So whether you are just starting your career journey or looking for guidance on your next steps, we hope the discussion today will inspire and equip you to take control over your future, right? Okay, so it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for the evening, right? The wait is over right now. All right. He was an instrumental keynote speaker in establishing and managing the academic internet in Sri Lanka, particularly through his leadership in setting up Lanka Education and Research Network, which began with Sri Lanka's first email system in 1990. He led Learn from 1993 to 2003, right? He has also played a major role in Sri Lanka's ICT sector, including as a founding program director of the Information and Communication Technology Agency, which is known as ICTAA, from 2003 to 2004, which led the country's ICT development initiatives. So he holds a bachelor's degree in engineering from the University of Moratuwa and both a master's and PhD from the University of California. In addition to his role as a professor at the University of Moratuwa Department of Computer Science and Engineering, he served as the domain registrar and later CEO of the .lk domain registry, which oversees Sri Lanka's top level domain. Right. So lot more to define. By the way, it's time to get started, right? So please join me in welcoming Professor Gihan Dias, who will be sharing their invaluable insights with us today. So it's over to you, sir. Sir, you are, I think,
I'm sorry, I'm muted. So once again, thank you, Jani, for introducing me and the organizing committee uh, for deciding to take me. So I will try to talk a bit. So my sort of overall topic is your career and your life. But since I believe, in fact, let me go on to the slide itself. So let me first of all show the slides. Hold on. Let me share this. Hopefully it will work. And I need to share the sound. Okay. No, I don't need to share the sound. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Okay, great. So good evening once again. And so let me start off. So I would like you to be active. And so the chat is also okay. I do have the chat open here. But in general, I would prefer if you can just open your mic and speak, except of course, mute the mic when you're not speaking, because I would like to ask you some questions. So let's start and ask the first question. Why are you here today? So maybe would someone in the audience try to answer why you happen to turn up for this Zoom meeting at this evening today? Anybody? So one of the important things in starting a career or looking at how to improve your career is get up and speak. So all the people who are not speaking, I would assume will find it very difficult to one is to find a job, and even after that to advance in your career. So go ahead, don't feel shy. Uh, just say something. I mean, whatever you say, there is no wrong answer. Why are you here today? Okay, I'm going to just sit and wait until 8 o'clock if you don't answer. You can answer on the chat as well. I have the chat open, so you could answer on the chat if you feel like.
So one member asked, from the chat, not asked, mentioned his thought like to have a guidance on career selection.
Career selection. Okay, good. Yeah, send it to everyone rather than to, I don't know who that person has sent it to on the Zoom, right? And not on WhatsApp or something else. Okay, that's one good thing. Guidance. So they are here today, or at least one person, to look at career guidance. What else? Who else is here for some particular reason? Okay, anyway, I am expecting a lot of answers. So maybe your answer here is someone told me to come. So Rotaract said, oh, we do need more people coming for this webinar. So can you just come? You don't need to switch on your mic. You don't need to switch on your camera. Just give your name and then you can sleep. So is that the reason why you're here? Because Rotaract or one of the organizers wanted you to come? Hopefully not. Hopefully you are listening to me and hopefully you will answer my next question. Maybe you're here to learn how to get a job, right? Or somebody said career, or to find a job with a good salary, or to start a good career, or maybe to understand how to build my life. So I'm not really going to talk about how to build my life, although that sort of would be the long-term objective here. What I will look at mostly, since I believe most of you, in fact, that's the next question. So let me go to the next question. Or before that, I believe most of you are undergraduates and you are looking to get a job. So that may be why you're here. Right. So let me then ask the next question. Who are you? Maybe you are a final year student, right? So I will not ask you to raise your hand or anything. I could maybe, yeah, on Zoom. Can you raise your hand if you're a final year student? You know how to do that, right? There is some responses button at the bottom. If you're on a PC, if you're on a phone, it's also somewhere there. Can somebody raise your hand if you're an undergraduate? Sorry, a final year student? No, I don't see any raised hands. Okay, one person has raised her hand, Jani. Okay, Jani +1. Okay, so we have Lavinu, who is a final year student. Who else? Only two final year students are here, or the others are all sleeping? Okay, if you want to sleep, I'm sure you can go to your home or boarding place or somewhere and sleep. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, right. Who would be, so maybe you can just lower your hand. Unfortunately, I can't lower hands from here. Who would be getting ready to go for an internship, maybe in your third year or something? Anybody? Okay, so just to get, so some of you may be doing that. So I see Fatima has raised her hand and maybe some more. Some of you may be first or second year students, and some of you may be waiting to enter university, and some of you may be graduates who are already, when you have graduated, maybe you are looking for a job, or you have found a job, or you are looking to do postgraduate studies, or you're looking to go into your next stage in the career, whatever. Right, but let me say I'm planning to focus my talk mostly on undergraduates who, or maybe recent graduates who are looking for a job. Right, so we will look at that since I think that would be of most interest to you. So I will then go on to my next question, which is, what do you want to do? Do you want to get a job in Sri Lanka? Do you want to get a job abroad? Do you want to start your own business, either by yourself or maybe with some friends or from investors or somebody else? Or maybe you have decided, okay, it's time to retire. I'm only 20, but that's fine. I will retire. Who wants to retire at your age? I mean, good thing, right? You should retire. Why not? So, whatever. You can decide whether it is any of these things or maybe something else. Does anybody else have any other ambitions right now? I mean, what do you want to do? Maybe you want to just finish your degree. Okay, that's fine. I will not worry too much about it. But about after you finish your degree and get a job, who's interested, or any other things you are interested in? Go ahead. I mean, the idea of these webinars is to have a discussion, not just to listen. So don't, unfortunately, in Zoom, you can't sit on the back row. I'm sure otherwise half of, yes, go ahead. There's a couple of people on the waiting room. So let me admit them. Right. Any comments on what people want to do? Yes, Karukaran, you are unmuted. Karunakaran, sorry. No, you're muted again. Okay, what happened? Okay, just, yeah, okay, Udara. Udara, go ahead. Okay, I cannot hear Udara. Anyway, so let me continue. Please do be more interactive because Rotaract is doing this to, have a discussion. Otherwise, I could have just done a video and just Rotaract would have played it. Right. So then I assume many of you are looking for a job. So let me ask, what is a job? Right. So a lot of people, I'm sure all of you, are looking for a job, or maybe some of you have a job, or some of you think you know what a job is, but really, what is a job? Have you sort of thought of it in a philosophical way? What you would mean by a job? So I assume that you will all agree that in a job, there is somebody called the employer and the employee, and you may be the employee, and the employer pays you money. Right? I would assume that most of you will agree that the employer paying you money is a very important part of your job. But why do they pay you money? Now, I'm not talking really of government jobs, where sometimes they just pay you money for no reason, for doing nothing. So let's not worry about those. But if you work in the private sector or even in a NGO, maybe even at a society like Rotaract or something else, they may not even pay you money, but you're supposed to do some work, right? So this is something a lot of people don't quite get into their heads, that they pay you money to do some work. And the value of the work you do should be more than the salary you get, right? So some people ask me when they are applying for a job, right? How much can you pay me? So I just turn around and say, how much do you want? So some people then sort of get a bit upset because I have now asked them how much they want. They don't want to answer that. Other people go up and say, okay, I want this much. I want 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakhs, whatever it is. Or maybe these days, some people answer in dollars and say, I want $1,000 or $1,500 or some amount like that. Right. So that's fine, right? So you can ask for any amount you like. Ask for $2,000 a month, right? But please remember that if you are getting that whatever amount, the value of the work should be more than the salary you are getting. And typically, it should be around 3 times more, right? Most employers expect you to give value to the company by doing some work, which is maybe around 3 times what they pay you, right? I don't think any of you may have really thought about that. They may have thought that, okay, I just do a bit of work and they pay me exactly the amount or that what uh, what they uh, what they pay you is exactly the value of the work you do. That's not true, right? You have to work much more, or you have to provide much more value to the company than they pay you, because there's a lot of overheads, right? There is office staff, there are the accounting people, there may be the cleaning people, there's the lady who makes a tea, right? Then there are all the computers and the furniture and the air conditioning and the electricity, internet, all of those have to be paid, right? Plus, most companies are for-profit companies. They expect to make a profit. So some people are very socialist and say, we don't want profit. Okay, then in that case, you can be like a not-for-profit organization. That's fine. But we know that many companies, many organizations are commercial companies and they have to make a profit. Why? Because people have invested money in it, or they have some people have set up, like you are doing a startup, you have put in a lot of effort into it and you want to get something back, right? So some of you may be thinking of starting a new company, a startup, right? Now, maybe a few of you are just doing it for some social benefit or something, but mostly you will be expected to get your money back. And how do you get your money back? By having employees who work hard and add value to the company. Is that clear? So this is like a lecture, but anyway, I think this is very important, something for you to understand. This fact that you have to work and you have to add value to the company. Okay, right. So I'm assuming that since you all are very silent people, you have heard it, but you don't want to see it. One is, you are not entitled to a job, right? Some people believe that just because they get a degree, they are entitled to a job. That's not true, right? Why should anybody, even the government, give you money because they have already spent? Now, do you know how much money the government has spent? I think most of you are in state universities at Moratuwa or maybe some other place. How much the government is paying to educate you, right? I don't know the exact amount, but I think it is several lakhs per graduate. Now, after paying you to get an education, you want the government to give you a job also. No, don't expect that, right? The government has, or the government is the people of the country. I mean, none of these politicians are ever actually going to give you money. They always get money from the people, right? Or from Modi or somewhere, I don't know. And so you are not entitled to a job. You should expect to do some work, give value to an employee for them to pay you. Okay. So then let's go on to hiring person. Why would somebody hire you? Right? So let's look at, applying for and getting a job. Why would somebody in some company hire you? there are probably many other candidates. If not, you may be in luck. Maybe you are the only person who applied for that job, so you get it automatically. Maybe, but usually there are many other candidates. So why you? Why do they want to get you and not the other 24 people who have applied? Right? You need to show that you are the best person for the job. Right? But I will tell you, I have interviewed and recruited many people. In several cases, right? Sometimes we say, okay, here is the job. These are the job description. This is what we want, qualifications, experience, whatever. And then we get a person who is meeting that requirement. Sometimes we have found a person who is not really meant for that job. Haridhar, they are not meant for that job, but we realize that's a good person. We can use that person somewhere else in the company. And then we recruit that person. Right? So if you are good, don't worry too much. If you like to work in a company and you think the company will like you, don't worry too much about the exact job you apply for. Maybe they might take you even for a different job. We have done that. Right? I'm not saying that this happens all the time, but we have done that. Right. So now let's see, what are you looking for? Right? So I assume you are undergraduate or maybe recently graduated. And you either have a degree or you are going to get a degree in some field. Right? So all degrees, unless you do like a general degree where you do, Buddhist civilization and Asian history and I don't know, something else, right? Those are called general degrees, BA degrees. But most other degrees are in one particular field. So what are you trying to do? What are you looking for with this degree that you are hopefully going to get? You are looking for a job maybe, right? What's a job? We explained a few minutes ago. Are you looking for postgraduate studies? Now, many people, they will do a degree and say, I should do a master's, I should do a PhD. Maybe I will do a master's first and then a PhD. Some kind of postgraduate study. Some people might want to do an MBA or some other kind of postgraduate studies. I'm not going to talk about that very much today. That's maybe a separate topic. So we'll let someone else talk about that. Do you want to start your own business? Why not? Right? Either by yourself or with some friends, you can start your own business. I'm not really encouraging that if you have just left university or just about to leave university. I don't really encourage you. I know a lot of people have done that, all these famous Facebook guys and so on. But I don't think that's really a good idea. But if you want, you can do that. Or you might join either your family business, or maybe you might join an existing business, not really as an employee, maybe as a partner or an investor, something like that. Right? So these are some of the possibilities. There are others, including, as I said, some people might want to retire. Right? I have studied so hard for 4 years after studying for 13 years in school. Now it's time for me to take it easy and retire. Maybe, right? Hopefully you're not in that category, but maybe you are. Right. So assuming that you're looking for a job, again, as I said, I will focus on jobs today, although, we're talking about career and life and everything. What are you looking for in a job? Maybe you're looking for a good company, a good organization to work in. Very important, right? The same job might be quite different in this company, company A, and in company B. Are you looking for work you like? Or you say, I don't really care, just somebody give me some job. I would strongly say that, don't try to do work you don't really like. It will be very annoying and boring and tiring when there are so many interesting things you can do in this world, right? Of course, you can sort of say, okay, I want to relax, or I want to go on holiday all the time. That may be true, but of course, there are these YouTubers you have seen. They spend their time going around the world and talking about various countries, and maybe they get paid by these hotels and restaurants and various people to basically talk about them. So there are at least a few people who seem to be spending their lives just traveling without having any other job. Maybe. But anyway, you can always find work you like. I can guarantee you that. Right? It may not be the best possible work or the highest paid work, but some kind of work you like. So when you're looking for a job, I would recommend you, first of all, look for a good company, work you like, and then work where you can learn and advance your career. Then maybe a good salary, right? But as you can see, I have put that, maybe fourth or fifth, I don't know, somewhere. And maybe you want a chance to go abroad. Remember, some people are very keen. I want to leave this country and go abroad. So I will tell this story. Once I went to France with one of my former students. Now he's working somewhere, big guy now. At that time, he was my student. And we got out of the train somewhere, and there was a wind and there was a lot of dust. And it was getting in our eyes. And he said, "Oh my God, why is there dust here? I thought this was only in Sri Lanka. I didn't know that these countries also had dust." And I was thinking, this is the problem. We think that all these countries, France or US or Australia or somewhere, they are perfect. And only problems are in Sri Lanka. That's not true. I mean, all countries have their own problems. Some of them are very cold. Some of them may be very hot, right? Some of them, they speak, various languages, and you have to learn those languages. And some of them, the people are very rude and, not, very well behaved. So don't think that going abroad is the only thing, but certainly it's very easy to go abroad now, right? You can go to Singapore anytime you like. You just get a ticket. Now there is Jetstar Airlines, not all that expensive, or you can go to Maldives, even cheaper. So if you want to go abroad, and now you can get passports also. At one time, that was a problem. Get your passport, right? And hop over to Maldives or Singapore or somewhere without any problem. Or you want to go to Thailand, you can go to Thailand. Or there are so many places you can go. You can actually, I would recommend you sort of do that. So then you will realize that, and maybe, you can even find some work there. There are a lot of small volunteer works and various things you can do. Right. Then benefits. What are the benefits other than salary? Some people forget about benefits and only look for a salary. Some people worry too much about benefits and say, oh, I want this, I want that, I want a car, I want a bike, I want petrol, right? Again, you can decide what you want or what you don't want. Okay, so that is what you should be looking for. Any questions up to that point? Please do ask some questions. I'm feeling very, it's not like having a physical thing where I can see your faces. So even Jaini has switched off her video. No,
So
it's
I
okay.
do
Don't worry.
question from my
Yeah.
side. I do. It's all about, so I've heard like some postgraduate opportunities for the research assistants or somewhat I've heard. So can you just elaborate on the I mean the potential or the real core into that role? Or else
Uh,
I've heard like,
yeah, I
yeah,
wasn't really planning to cover that area, but we can maybe after I finish my slides, we can discuss it at that point, right? So let me
right.
finish because I was looking mostly today at focusing on jobs or that type of thing rather than postgraduate. But after that, depending on the time available, we'll look into your question, Jani. Okay, any other person up to that point, what are you looking in a job? So we talked about what are you doing in a job, whether you want to do your own business or postgraduate, of course, we talked about, right? Any of these, I mean, other than whatever I'm talking about, is there anything else that you're looking for in a job or maybe even postgraduate? So maybe why are you want to do postgraduate? I mean,
Sir,
so there should be a reason for that.
someone is asking, sir, what are the criteria to select a good workplace?
Okay,
Should
what
be
are the criteria for looking? Right, I would suggest, I think you can send the messages to everyone, then I can see it directly, or you can even send it only to me if you want. Right, because otherwise you have to again repeat it. I assume everybody can send messages, right, to everyone? Any whatever it is. Right. So what are the criteria for finding a good workplace? Yeah, I think to me, it is a place where people, the other employees, consider that they are happy or they are doing well. Right? So one of the things is, if you go and ask people who are already there, do you like this place? And if they are sort of not very positive, I would say that's probably not a good place. Uh, so some people really say, oh, we have this fantastic office and we have a, this game, we have free lunch and we have free dinner, we have free transport. So all those are okay. I mean, I'm not saying they are not good, but overall, that might not be the most important thing. Right? I mean, yes, it's nice to get free lunch and breakfast and whatever. But on the other hand, just getting bring some lunch from home is not such a big deal, right? So you should not the only thing you should think of, right? So my thing is, look at the work environment, look at what other people are saying about it, and not necessarily the blurbs they talk about, not the nice pictures they put, right? Not the nice PowerPoint slides they come and do on careers day. I think I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, so there's another question. What is your opinion on working in a startup? Is it okay to start the career from a startup? So that's a very good question. So there are actually two questions there. Working in a startup. Working in a startup to me means you're not one of the founders, right? You are just an employee. But generally, startup means it's a small company, 3, 4, 5 people. Right? The good thing about working in a startup is you get to do a lot of work with a lot of real world responsibilities. Because there's only a few people and you have to really do real work. You can't just go and do some minor things. The major I would say drawback to working in a startup is there may be not enough senior people to guide you. Right? Especially if the people who have done the startup also are not very experienced, they may not be able to guide you. Then the second question here is, what about you starting a company, maybe with your friend? That's a good thing, but you have to look at capital. Do you have money? Is your father going to fund you, or how are you going to manage? How are you going to, do you have enough people who have everything, not just technical people? A lot of people think, okay, we have some very good people and we can, develop this product, we can build this product, we know all about engineering, but they don't have people who know about marketing, they don't have people who know about, say, legal aspects, they don't know people who know accounts. So I think doing a startup at the beginning, I generally don't advise. I'm not saying don't do it. If you really feel like it, please go ahead and do that. But I'm not such a fan of people before they work anywhere doing a startup, right? So I would recommend, if you want to do a startup, go and work somewhere for 2, 3, whatever number of years. and earn little money, get a bit of capital, learn about how things are done, and then you can do a startup. All the startups I have seen who are successful have been done by people, not all, most of them anyway, who have done something. Okay, then there is another question. I'm very doubtful on to choose my passion. I can't select specific path, etc. What is this? SC or QA or BA or PM? What should I do? Okay, so obviously this might be a IT person, software engineer, quality assurance, business analyst, or project manager, I assume. Yeah. So again, it does not really matter if you're coming more from the business side. So some of you may be from the business faculty. Then BA might be the place where you are, or PM, project manager. But project manager usually is not a person who has just started, right? Usually project managers are people who have quite a bit of experience, and then they come to manage project after they have, worked on project. Whereas BA or business analyst are people with some business knowledge. Again, generally people who have got more experience. So especially if you're in the IT field, doing quality assurance or software engineering may be good places to start, because that's where most people start, and then after that you can become a BA or something else. There is a bit of an issue, let me just explain, about going in for quality assurance. There is some companies which feel that quality assurance people can only do quality assurance and they can't do any other things. So just check to see if you are going for a company as a QA, what happens to people who go there? Do they go into other areas, maybe into software, into business analysis, management, and so on? Or do they keep getting stuck as QAs? If they are going to get stuck as a QA, you should see, maybe if that is what you really want. I mean, some people really like that and they say, I want to be QA, senior QA, QA lead, right? QA architect, whatever. If so, that's fine. But if not, sometimes you might get stuck there. Just be aware of it. Okay, let me continue. What do employers look for? Sorry. Right. So earlier I said, what should you look for? Now let's say what employers look for. They might look for these. They might look for a person from a good university or a good degree. Good means something where people feel, okay, this degree is sort of a useful degree, whatever that it means. Then academic work. How you have done in your academic work, first year, second year, third year, fourth year. That may not be too important. So don't get too worried if you have not done well in your academic work, but on the other hand, don't fail subjects, right? Most organizations are not very happy with people who have got a whole lot of Fs. Maybe one F they might overlook, F or I or whatever. But if you are failing half your subjects, then of course people will be not very keen about you. But if you get decent marks, you get, mostly Bs or something, that's fine, right? Don't try to say, I have to get A plus for every single subject. Some people really get upset. I know some student who came and cried at me because they got a A minus. I said, you got a A minus, why are you crying? No, sir, I want a A plus. What is this? I mean, A minus is still good work, right? So don't get too worried about academic work. Then job skills, soft skills, attitude. So let's look at them in a bit more detail. It's good. Certainly, I mean, I don't disagree. It's good to be from a well-known university, right? People from well-known universities tend to find it easier to get jobs and a relevant field for whatever the job you're looking for, right? But not essential. There are many people who have graduated from universities which are not so famous, and the field is not so maybe really related to whatever job they are doing, but that's fine. They get there and then they do well. So what do you do if you are not from a well-known university or field? So some of you may be wondering, I am in this, so I won't try to mention a particular field, in this field, and this field is not such a good field. I don't know why not, right? All the fields, at least at Moratuwa Engineering, that's what and the IT, those two faculties I'm familiar with. As far, right, all the fields in them are, or those two faculties definitely, and I believe the others also, are good fields, right? So now there's nothing called, oh, this is a bad field. It's really what you make of it. But if you are not so keen on that field or whatever, maybe that was a third choice, fourth choice, something, you should enhance your skills. We'll look at it in a moment. So academic work, it's good to have first or second class. I don't disagree, but not essential. Don't get too worried. But of course, as I said, if your work is really poor, then of course people will think this guy is not interested in working. Have something to talk about. Very important. When you go for a job interview or apply for a job with your CV, have something to talk about. Don't just say, I have, completed this degree. You must say, I have done this project, I have done this final year project, and here we did this, we got a publication. If you get a publication, you should always mention, I got a patent, right? Some people go and get patents from their projects, right? Or you have done some independent work, which might be not part of your project, your university project, but still you can talk about it. So always find something to talk about. And recommendations, don't get too worried. To me, what I feel is recommendations are important only if the person who's giving the recommendation is personally known to the recruiter. When I recruit somebody, I look at the recommenders, and if there's a name I know, I might call and ask, right? If I know the name of one of the people you have put as referees, I would most likely call and ask who is the so and so has applied. Can you, what do you say? If I don't know that person, I don't know what it is. I mean, some people, right, just say, oh, can you give me a recommendation? And I say, have I, supervised your project or done something with you? They say, no, 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 but you taught me in the first year. I mean, come on, there are, 700 people in the first year. So what's the point of saying you taught me in the first year, right? You are probably sitting in the back of the class and I wouldn't have even seen your face, right? So always ask for recommendations from people who can recommend you and also people who might be known to the recruiter. Let's go to the next one, job skills. Job skills are very, very important, right? Even more important than academic work. So work you have done, right? Because when an employer sees CVs, everybody says, I have done a degree or diploma or something, right? But if you said, I have done this work, ideally, if you have got paid for it, say, I have done this work and I have maybe done a part-time job or done something on Fiverr or somewhere like that, or you were an intern, or maybe you were a volunteer, right? I volunteered and I was working on this society. I was working with my temple or church or something, and then I developed this whatever thing. I have done this work. That is very important. So one of the main things is, if you haven't done any of these, try to figure out what work you have done, right? Then professional qualifications, like some people do accounting or maybe some other professional qualifications, part 1, part 2, part 3, while you are at the university. Good idea. If you feel that it's useful, don't just do it because your mother wants you to do it or your brother did it, right? Or your friend is doing it. Do it if you feel that you are interested in that thing and it will enhance your current degree, right? So this plus that would be better than only this. Otherwise, why do you want to do a degree? You can straight away go and do this professional qualification and maybe finish that maybe 2-3 years before you finish your degree. Then certifications like Microsoft, Oracle, various things. These show that you can do some particular thing, usually for a particular product, like Microsoft, Azure, engineer or something. I can't remember the exact name, right? Oracle, Java, something, right? Then, so these are generally from different companies and certify that you know how to use their particular product. So everybody has it, Amazon, Microsoft, Oracle, Google, right? All of them have these. Then online courses like in Coursera, edX, and various other things. These are good, and some of them you can get a certificate. Some of them you can get a free certificate. Some you have to pay, but I think it's a pretty reasonable amount, few dollars. You can get a certificate for these online courses. And then skills tests. Many companies, many employers give you tests as part of their interview. Be ready for that, right? Don't just say, I have done Microsoft systems engineer, whatever thing. If they ask you something about Microsoft Active Directory or something like that, you should be able to answer, right? If they give you a test, often these tests for IT people, they are programming, and obviously for other fields, it will be different. But many companies, they give you specific tests, usually not really cover in the final year subjects. Generally, they will cover things you have done in either the first year or second year, often like the second year, right? So all the stuff you have learned in like the second year, be prepared for employers to give you tests about that. Some people, they have forgotten, right? They have come to the final year, they have completely forgotten everything they have done in the second year. So what happens when a company gives you a skills test, you say, I have forgotten that 2 years ago. Not a good thing. Then soft skills. Soft skills are generally things which are different from what you learn in the class, not about technical things. You should be able to talk well and be confident. And how can you talk well? By practicing, right? So many people are scared to talk, right? So I think all of you are in that category because only one person actually asked me a question voice. Others maybe sent some messages or something. But be prepared to talk. People who talk get noticed, right? And if you're on Zoom, when you talk, switch on your video also, right? Or at least at the very minimum, have your face coming on Zoom rather than just your initial or something, right? Most of you just have initial. So I have no idea what you look like for anything. But better if you can switch on the video, right? Because people like to see people's faces. Be confident. Talk, right? Don't feel I'm going to sit in a corner, and practice talking. Now, some people say, මට මේ ඉංග්‍රීසි බෑ. අනේ මට ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් නම් කතා කරන්න බෑ. Right? Now, don't get worried about that. For some jobs, English is very important, and I will always recommend, and found the students who I have worked with know that I always ask them to talk in English. Why? Because if you don't practice talking in English, you will never learn, right? So you should learn English, but it's not essential. There are many jobs where, you need a bit of English, but communication skills in any language, how do you communicate in Sinhala or Tamil or any other language, is the most important thing, right? It doesn't have to be in English. And spelling and grammar are important. If you are writing things, and even if you are talking, of course, talking, there is no spelling, but grammar is there. But if you are writing, spelling is very important. Don't make spelling mistakes. And you can use AI tools, right? ChatGPT or even Microsoft Word or anything else. Even this Overleaf now has some very good AI tools where they allow you to write very nicely. Remember, when you write something and you make mistakes and the other guy uses an AI tool and it's all perfect, who will get more noticed by the employer? The guy who writes perfectly. Of course, don't be too ChatGPT, right? So we were laughing or we were looking at some answers some people had given, and we were saying, that's ChatGPT. That one is ChatGPT, right? Uh, so we were actually sort of trying to figure out which of those answers came from ChatGPT, and it's sometimes obvious, right? When there are a lot of big words, we know, okay, ChatGPT, right? So don't make it obvious that you're using ChatGPT, but also get it to just check the spelling and grammar, not necessarily to put a lot of big words. Then extracurricular work, right? It is very important when you're applying for a job to have some things which are not part of your main curriculum. For example, doing some activities in a society or in some volunteer organization. Please don't say, I was a member of Rotary Club for in this instance, right? I don't take any notice of people who say, I was a member of the Rotary Club, right? Some people say, I was a vice president of the Rotary Club. I say, fine. How many vice presidents are there? I don't know how many, quite a lot, right? So it doesn't matter being a vice president. You have to say, what have you done as vice president, right? You should show that you have done something and you should have a story, right? You should have a story which you can tell people, here, this is something I did. And that story usually will say, I was asked to do this job and this is how I did it. And I went and talked to this person. I went to talk to this person. I got some funding from here. Then this company helped me to do this. And there were 500 people actually arrived, and the hall was all set up nicely, and the speakers were very good. And everybody gave a very good review saying this was an excellent event, right? Or something else. You did a Shramadana campaign, you went to an orphanage and there were so many kids there and you know, cleaned it up. I don't know, whatever you do, right? So there are all sorts of things you do. But whatever it is, not just being a volunteer. I mean, anybody can say, I went for a Shramadana campaign, right? Because you generally get a free lunch and free transport. So a lot of people like to go for those, right? But it is to say you have organized it. That is the important thing, not just because you have gone to the Ramadana campaign or whatever it is, right? So don't just say, I was a member, I went for this and I was participated. No, you must say, I organized this, I managed to do this is my achievement. That's your story. Then attitude. When I recruit somebody, and I think this is true of all employers, attitude is more important than qualifications. I don't want to take a person who has lots of qualifications but doesn't seem to want to work, is very like behind, doesn't talk, right? Doesn't do any, or at least seem to be doing any work. So you must have a positive attitude, should be able to say, I can do this work. Should be prepared to take on responsibility. Follow through until you reach your success. Overcome obstacles. I don't want, and I think no employer wants, people who get stuck, right? There are some people, you give them a job, then next week or week after you ask, okay, have you finished? The deadline was yesterday, no, so you must have finished. No, I got stuck last week and I'm still stuck. So didn't you get unstuck somehow? No, I'm stuck, right? So that type of people I have no use for. People who get stuck and don't get done. I mean, everybody gets stuck, that's fine. When you get stuck, you must get unstuck. How do you get unstuck? Ask people, send messages, ask ChatGPT, talk to your boss, right? Ask maybe even your colleagues or your juniors or anybody, figure out a solution and implement that solution. Don't get stuck anywhere. Right. Any questions up to that point about what employees are looking for? Questions? Comments? Okay, sir, we do have like 20 minutes more to go with. Yeah. Okay, so let me continue. So let's continue with the job acquisition process. So now if you're looking to get a job, how do you do that? First of all, these are some of the things. So let's see advertisements. So many people like to go to LinkedIn or Top Jobs or I don't know, some place like that and apply for jobs. That's fine. You should do that. But remember, not all jobs are advertised. So how do you get unadvertised jobs? You should get your face known. If people know you and say, ah, he's that guy from this university and this particular society, he's very active. He comes here and bothers us all the time, right? If he works for us, he will come and do that because I can see he's really keen. Get your face known, apply on your own, so you can just apply, right? There's nothing to stop you from applying to anywhere. Most companies, when they get a CV, somebody will look at it and just keep it maybe, or by luck, by chance, you have a vacancy for that particular thing. Even before advertising, they might send it to that particular manager and say, here, there's a person, are you interested? You might get a job with, by chance, no problem. Or use your personal contacts. Most jobs are found through personal contacts, right? Other than maybe government jobs where you might have to apply, but even government jobs often through personal contacts, you sort of get everything organized and then you actually apply, but they are already ready to take you because you have been, I mean, not recommended by a politician maybe, but at least by some person. So these are some of the ways you get at jobs. Then the application. Don't send sort of second class, second rate applications. Always, if you are applying for something and you're wasting your time, right? Always give excellent applications, which are customized for that job, but not too flashy. Spelling and grammar should be perfect. You should include a picture. You should include references. Then you should do things like LinkedIn and so on. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is updated. There's your picture and everything. And Facebook and all are good, but be very careful, especially when you're looking for a job, not to put unnecessary, embarrassing things on your Facebook, right? Be very careful. In fact, from 1 or 2 years before you might apply for a job, be very careful. Anything you put on Facebook or Instagram, just think what would the employer think if they saw this. And remember, sometimes you might think that that person can't see it, but they have ways. They will maybe log in through somebody else's account or somebody might forward it and get all sorts of things. And it's good maybe if you want to have your personal page, especially if you are in something like architecture where you might have a portfolio, right? You can set up a portfolio on your personal page. Maybe this is more for slightly mature people who have already done a lot of work, but even for undergraduate, having a personal page might be a good idea. Then when you send the application, what is the objective? To get shortlisted. Remember, application will go, they will throw out 90% of them, maybe 10% of them, they will contact. So the main objective of the application is to get shortlisted. Don't lie on the application. Don't talk nonsense. I mean, don't overthink, do things, but, write what you have done very positively so that you get noticed. Remember who you applied, sorry, then the initial screening, sorry. So most companies will have initial screening. Maybe they will call you, send you an email or a chat or something. So some places, I call them and said, you applied to this job, right? And they say, did I? They can't even remember because they have replied to every single job they saw on LinkedIn. And they can't even remember what they said. So then immediately we think this guy is not good. He's just applying for everything. He doesn't know what you have applied. So remember that you applied for that job and at least have some basic idea about the company if you apply. Show your good personality and your good attitude. Then many companies will have a second, third, fourth, sometimes long number of interviews by different people, by the hiring team, the HR, the manager, and so on. Right? So you have to be prepared for that. Sometimes they ask the same question several times. right? Sometimes you might think, why are they asking the same question? Sometimes they just try to see whether you answer, the same way or whether you give different answers. You should dress nicely. So these days, a lot of these are online. So still you should dress nicely, right? Don't wear some dirty thing, right? I mean, comb your hair, comb your beard, whatever it is. Uh, and of course, if you are going physically, make sure you're also dressed with the in time. If it's a Zoom call, right? Be there like at least 5 minutes before the time they give. But of course, be prepared to wait, right? Some companies, they tell people to come at 10, but actually they have 20 interviews scheduled. So by the time they get to you, it is 11. Identify what they're looking for, right? When you go for interview, you should have some idea what are they trying to get at this interview and respond appropriately. Don't just walk in, be prepared. If you are not interested after some time, maybe after the second or whatever interview, you realize this is not for me, you tell them, sorry, I'm not interested. There's no point both of us wasting our time. I will go, and there's no point calling me again. Then skills test we talked about. There are many companies give skills test, and these are similar for in IT companies. It may be on programming or general problem solving, various things. You can figure out for each company what are the tests they give. You can ask previous people, did they give a test? What are the tests on? Sometimes they give the same test to everybody. So in that case, you can just practice that, or they are similar and so on. So you should practice the skills test. Don't just say, my God, these people talked about what I did in the second year, which I have forgotten. Then negotiation. So many times they will ask, what is your salary expectation? Some people don't know what to say. They say some low amount, and then after that say, my God, I should have asked for more. Some people give very high amounts, and sometimes they get just cut off because people think, no problem, there's no point talking to this guy. We can't afford to pay that amount. So you have to give a realistic amount. And I believe that the high salary should not be the main objective of your first job. First job should be to get good experience that you can write about in your CV, right? And get some salary, obviously not zero, and learn something, grow, and then put that on your CV, get the information, and then maybe your second job in 2 years, you can get a good job. And it's good to work for a reputed company, but sometimes otherwise it's also okay. Then you might get a formal offer. So you should have negotiated everything. So when you get the offer, you should either accept or reject, but do it without undue delay. Maybe you can ask for 3-4 days, but don't say, I want a 1 month. I mean, you can say, I want 1 month to actually start the job, right? Because you might have to, give notice to your current place and various things, and you can negotiate a start date. Then when you start the job, you know where it is and what times. And I generally am not very happy for your first job. I would recommend, don't do work from home. Right? Some people really love work from home. Some companies also like, because they don't have to pay for officers. But you're alone, you don't get a lot of support. Maybe if you are a very experienced person, that is perfectly okay. But for a first job in a new company, always it's better, in my belief, to work from an office where there are other people. Okay, so in conclusion, I would say decide what you want, right? Don't apply for because your friend says something, and don't apply for something because your mother or your father or your sister says you should do that, right? Don't worry about that, right? Do what you want and first figure out, is it feasible, right? Sometimes people might want to do things, but when you look at it, it's not possible. It doesn't work, right? But if it is feasible, try to do that. Prepare well before applying, right? Don't, because especially if you want to have social work and projects and society. So some societies to, become, you have to first be a member, then you become something else, a committee member, then you become a vice president. So it takes 3-4 years for you to get to that point, right? So you have to join well in advance so that you can get to that point before you prepare your CV. Be prepared for alternatives and give your best. Okay, and that's the end. And certainly we can have a discussion. Yeah, I don't know. It's very critical to finish now, but anyway, whatever. The organizers, you can decide how long you want to go.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So we can go for the questions. If you do have further to just get clarified from our professor, if you have,
You can
please.
either unmute and talk or send it, better send it to me rather than to meeting group chat. You can, right. Okay, there's a question from Fatima. Fatima, why do most job postings always require degree? Higher diploma students also have the talent capable to do this job. Yeah, that's a good comment. So companies also, they always believe, okay, let's, get this, people with a degree. And in this country now, I mean, many years ago it was different. There were very few people with degrees. Now you look around, everybody has a degree, right? So companies don't have a problem finding people who have degrees. So therefore, they just ask for degrees. I agree with you that for many jobs, just a diploma or maybe something else even is enough. But the question is, if there are 5 people who have applied who have degrees and you have applied and you don't have a degree, would the company like to take you? Now, if you say, no, I have done all of this, I have done this work, I have developed these projects here, I have got some testimonials from customers, and they have actually paid me money for this, right? But I don't have a degree, I only have a higher diploma. I think they might look at that. But in general, I think it has become necessary to have a degree because there are many, many people with degrees. So my answer is, yeah, I tend to agree with you, but unfortunately, when everybody else has a degree, and sometimes the same thing happens with masters, right? You apply for maybe a slightly, not the first job, but maybe a next job. Everybody else has a master's. So then if you don't have a master's or some kind of professional qualifications or something, you don't really get in. So I would suggest that, yeah, so you have to sort of accept that maybe as just a fact of life. Okay, anything else? Yeah, okay. The question is, I'm from ENTC second year. Just give me a second. I have to plug in this computer. It's on battery all this time. Hold on. Right. Okay, sorry. What is my engineer joined. Okay, hold on. I have dreamed to join with engineering Land Rover company, but there has many obstacles to overcome. I find passed out students from our university, but I don't find how to overcome it, sir. Okay, the first question is, I think it's a good idea to be a ML engineer, machine learning engineer, but why only in Land Rover, right? Why only Land Rover? Why not at, Tesla or even maybe BYD, the Chinese company, right? Might become the biggest uh, automotive company in the world, or maybe BMW or Mercedes-Benz. Why Land Rover? I'm not sure. Right. Anyway, so my suggestion is don't be too narrow. So you want to do machine learning? Fine. Now, what have you done in machine learning in addition to your degree? Have you done a machine learning course in your degree? If so, good. If not, follow a machine learning course at Coursera or somewhere like that, right? Get a certificate, right? It doesn't cost all that much, but it's good to have. Don't go for this LinkedIn learning. I don't have any confidence in LinkedIn learning. And most of it is not very good, but Coursera is good, edX is good, and so on, right? And then don't try to say, I want to work in this particular company. You can say, I want to work in this type of field. Maybe in the automotive field, I want to learn about self-driving cars, but what about self-driving planes, right? Now that's the next one that's going to be there, right? Aircraft which, go by themselves, either drones or even they are looking at people to actually travel in piloting or whatever aircraft. Why not? Or submarines, or I don't know, whatever you want. Okay, so anyway, that's some idea about that. Let's continue the next one. Jaini is saying, when starting a new job, how can you quickly adjust to a new environment, team culture, and expectations, even if it's completely different from university life? So I would suggest your internship, right? I assume all of you have done or are doing an internship. Is a good place. This is again why I don't like internships where people work from home. I hope none of you are going for those internships now. I know during COVID that was only possibility, but it is 2025 now. Don't do internships from home. I think it's a bad idea. Anyway, go and learn at the internships. Then you should try to find a friend or two, maybe a senior batch person or some other person who works in that organization, ideally in the same department, same team, or some similar team. And just ask them, how does this place work? Right? And try to get an idea how it works and, who are the key people there, who are the people that you should make sure they are happy, and who are the people who are not such a so much of key people, and so on. And you should adapt, right? So the first day, obviously, you go talk to people. Don't sit in a corner and keep your mouth shut. At the same time, don't talk too much. I mean, don't try to come up as a too smart a person, right? Say hello to people. Good morning. How are you? I'm so and so. I'm a new person here. Give them a compliment, saying, "Oh, you're wearing a nice dress or something." And talk to them, and then they will generally be try to be friendly with you. Most big companies, especially, they have an induction program where they will spend maybe a week or whatever going over various things, but at the same time it's not really difficult to figure out how things work and uh, 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 do that way. So I think the best way to learn about a job is to do an internship, or maybe even a part-time job. So some people do part-time jobs here and there. Okay. And they say, if I had a good research, I can get an intern, sir. Okay. Are you talking? This is Lakshita who wants to go to Land Rover, right? So you have talked to Land Rover and they have said that, is it? Can you switch on the mic and answer me? Okay, anyway, I'm not sure what you are meaning there, so I'm not very sure. But anyway, generally, it's good to do a good final year project, right? And have something to talk about, even if it's not a final year project, because some people may not have yet finished their final year project. It's good to have done some work, ideally with some research, with some paper published. I mean, that's very good. Even if you don't have a paper published, at least if you can say, I have done this, here is my result, I have written something. It's generally a good idea to have some research done uh, while you're doing your undergraduate, right? So I'm not sure exactly what you meant by that, but anyway, sort of a general answer. Okay, so those are the answers I saw, so the questions I saw in the chat. Did I miss anybody? I think those are the things and right. Okay, so those are the questions I have got up to now.
Okay, so sir, since we are running out of the time, I think for the audience, if they have further clarifications, they can contact our professor via his email, and I'll share his official email in the official WhatsApp group as well. Is it okay, sir?
Yes, there is one more question. Let me quickly answer that again from Lakshita or Lakshita, I'm not sure. Sir, can you explain engineering consultant and chartered engineer? So chartered engineer is given by engineering institute. In Sri Lanka, we have the Institution of Engineers, IESL, and then there are others like the British whatever institutes. There are several of them, and they give you a particular designation once you get admission and pass a particular exam that you are a chartered engineer. And you can't just call yourself a chartered engineer. You have to be, because actually they can, if you just pretend to be a chartered engineer, they can actually take action against you. Engineering consultant, so the chartered engineer doesn't have to be a consultant. He can be just working for some company or government or anywhere. Engineering consultant generally is not working for a salary. He is uh, consulting for various companies. So maybe for a while he works for one company, he consults, then next time he will work for another company. So that's so a consultant doesn't have to be a chartered engineer. On the other hand, many consultants are, I mean, they want to show that they have their necessary qualification, whatever. So they do become chartered engineers, right? So that's a difference between those. Okay, right. So please, this last question. We'll continue. Sorry, Jani.
It's totally fine. All right, so it was such a enthusiasm from the audience to clarify their doubts and questions from that kind of an expert in the academic and both the industrial level. It's really happy to see you all active involvement with the Q&A session. So again, thank you so much, sir, for your time, your valuable insights, and your great collaboration with us and your contribution. It was such a productive and it was such a needed session for all the participants. Also, we would like to remind that this session will be uploaded to our Rotaract Alumni of University of Moratuwa official YouTube as per the initiative of Limitless Horizons 4.0. And then you can use this video for your future reference as well. So we will share this with you as soon as possible, right? So it was kind reminder. So again and again, thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. And it was such a great honor and grateful for your presence here with us today. So we have prepared a small token of appreciation from our side. So we would kindly invite you to accept that token of appreciation.
Right. Thank you. So we will accept the virtual token, right? Not an NFT, but anyway. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Also, sir, please remain like 2 to 3 minutes to take our group photo until we take the group photo.
Okay.
All right. So it's time to capture the moment with a group photo. So I would invite you all to fix your background picture. As I send the background image via the chat, you can download it and fix it to your virtual background and be ready for the group photo. We'll take a group photo within like another 20 to 30 seconds. Please get ready. Right, please turn on your cameras, guys, if you can. If that would be really appreciated if you guys can turn on your cameras and engage with the group photo. All right, so let's take the photo. I'll just give you a countdown, right? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for your collaboration. All right. So now I would like to invite Hiroshi Premaratna, co-chair, one of the co-chairs of Limitless Horizons 4.0, for delivering the word of thanks on behalf of our organizing committee members.
Thank you, Jayani. Today we have successfully completed the Limitless Horizon 4.0 Phase 1 Webinar 2 with all of you. First of all, I would like to thank you, today's keynote speaker, Professor Gihan Dias from Department of Computer Science and Engineering, University of Moratuwa. Sir, your time and effort and cooperation with us is truly inspired us, all of the members. Thank you for that. Then I would like to thank the Rotaract Alumni University of Moratuwa, the president and all of the directors for helping this event make success. And again, I would like to thank, especially thanks for my co-chair, Jani Ranchagode, and our team for their dedication and hard work. And last but least, I would like to thank all of the members who participated today and actively questioning their doubts and clarifying these issues. Without you, we couldn't make this even more success. As we run out of time, I would like to invite all of you for our Limitless Horizon 4.0 Phase 2, where the foreign university undergraduates will share their journeys with all of you in the Phase 2. I would like to see all of you in there. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you so much, Hiroshi. So we promised you guys that we will be able to issue your valuable e-certificate related to today's webinar. So now I have shared you with the Google form. So we would appreciate all the participants who were with us today to fill that to gain your e-certificate. So it's a kind reminder. Everyone who expects a certificate has to fill the Google form first, and then we will do the proceedings to obtain this for you, right? So I've shared the link via the chat. You guys can fill it out, right? All right. With that note, now we are at the last minutes to conclude the session. I hope this session was a really insightful one for you all to just clear your career paths and to just know more and more that you haven't known before. Right. So again, thank you so much. Our keynote speaker today, Professor Gihan Dias, professor at the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of University of Moratuwa. Thank you so much, sir. And as Hiroshi said, it's a big shout out to the Rotaract alumni of University of Moratuwa for creating such a platform to initiate such a great project like Limitless Horizons 4.0. And we would like to acknowledge you that we are not just ended up our project from this step. We do have further 2 steps, right? So the next step would be our phase 2. As Hiroshi said, we do conduct some kind of webinars and discussions to gain the knowledge and the insights and own experiences from the foreign university undergraduates who have gained the free education from Sri Lanka and state universities, and now um, just obtaining their masters and PhD and their higher studies things. So we would really invite you to join that webinar as well and the discussion. So if you guys have further clarifications and questions to forward to that guests, you can just raise them to just put a message via the group. If you can't put a message directly via the group, you can just contact me or Hiroshi as well, right? So we would try to answer your questions and clarify your doubts as possible as we can. We promise that. And our phase 3 would be a physical session with the foreign studies consultancy agency to just have a guidance and consultancy for your higher studies in abroad. So you can come to University of Moratuwa. We will announce the exact venue ahead, right? After finalizing everything, we will inform you. So you can come to University of Moratuwa for that session, and you can meet the consultancy agency members, and you can just plan your studies abroad. So that would be the flagship phase. We want to just continue with our project as the last step. So we would like to invite you all to that session as well, right? So before moving on to the conclusion, again, we just really appreciate your presence. So just take a time to fill the Google form to just obtain your certificate. And with that note, again, thank you so much, guys. Without your all participation, we couldn't make this event a successful and memorable one. And we hope your enthusiasm, your cooperation will be engaged with our further and future events as well. So stay tuned with Rotaract alumni of University of Moratuwa and Limitless Horizons 4.0 as well. So thank you so much. Have a nice day and good night to you all. Thank you. I'm Jani Ranchakura.